This is Aquaman. This is an old comic book here. What is this from? 1989. I got it in the 90s, late 90s. I still hold on to this. I cherish this. But I also, more importantly, got to see the movie. Hold on. There we go. So I saw it in 2D. There was no 3D or 4D or IMAX or anything like that. Um, for this movie, it was very good. It was like the best, I think, Aquaman movie you could get a hold of. I mean, you could just watch. James Wan is very good. He's mostly known for horror movies. Wait, hold on. I'm just checking to see if there's an explosion jump scare. No. Okay, no explosion, which is predictable in this movie. That's one of the things I did not like about this movie was the explosion jump scares. This guy's known for doing jump scares in all of his movies, I think. So explosions seem to be a cue. There's spoilers, so I'm going to go into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So, of course, you can tell that Black Manta wasn't dead. I was waiting for that to happen. I was waiting for Black Manta to survive his injuries with Aquaman. I don't think he snapped his neck, of course. I waited and waited, and we got the post-credits scene. So it's basically, think of the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon where, the Mon Calamari are fighting and the Jedi are fighting the squid creatures and the big shark. It's not as gruesome because, of course, the brother survives, but it's a way more expensive version of the Mon Calamari planet, where instead of Jedi, you have all the Atlanteans, you have different kingdoms, you go to different places. And of course, Julie Andrews is that big, kind of weird, I don't know how to say it. It's a giant squid with teeth that protects the magic, the fork. I can't remember what it's called now. I have a bad memory of things. The trident, the magic trident that Aquaman has to get. And there's a bit of romantic comedy, a little bit of Indiana Jones tributes in there. There's a little bit of Avatar. There's a little bit of life, kind of like, a little bit of what you saw in Justice League in the beginning. Tamara Morrison doesn't have much of screen time. He's there at the beginning. It seems like a romantic comedy at the beginning, but then can't understand why Nicole Kidman's character eats fish. Or maybe they eat a certain type of fish. Maybe they eat koi. Maybe you should hide your koi from Aquaman. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. So there's a lot to like. The big epic battle scene. I sat in the A row, so the front row, and that was not a good thing to do for the beginning of the movie, but for the big climactic giant creature that Aquaman commands with his golden trident, that the original king of Atlantis, before it sank into the sea, that he got a hold of, and he sends. It's basically a James Cameron's Avatar final scene, in which you see this a bunch of creatures fighting a bunch of creatures, and so that was the right time to sit in the front row and watch this giant creature do all kinds of weird shit, and see the killer whales and such. I felt the Mira. Arthur Curry and Mira was a little bit forced, but they're going to do the best they can with this. It's not a Christopher Nolan thing. This is more of a there's this magical world underneath the ocean, and you have to kind of just get into it. So, if I had to say, is this better than I would say in some ways it's better than Justice League. You do believe in the characters a bit. I tend to think, though, that Orm's character on Ocean Master was better developed in the Justice League two-part episode back in 2001 than this one. That's my honest opinion. Black Manta's was shaped a little bit better. I would say Black Manta was the better villain than the Ocean Master. I think there's another villain. They might bring in King Shark if they make another Aquaman movie. King Shark is another one. There's all kinds. They may even just get some that are land dwellers, such as Dr. Light or Mirror, maybe one of the Flash villains, but it's hard to say. There's also Despero. We haven't seen Despero Either Despero will show up in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Arrowverse, or he's going to show up in the next Justice League movie. Who knows? Everything's up in the air with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck not being sort of in the gray area, not really being part of the DC universe anymore, or not. But the way Jason Momoa does his part as Aquaman is believable. It's convincing. He's a guy out of water. He's a fish out of water. I mean, in every sense, he's like that failed musician that used to be in rock and roll and used to play in bands, but he can't, his band splits up and now he's got to be a king of Atlantis. He's got to be a king of a world underneath, all the fathoms, under the sea. He's got to do all this other stuff. So he's almost like Michael Keaton putting on the Batman suit. He's a very cool person. I'll give props to Ryan Terran, and Kim Farty, and a lot of the other people's stunt crew. The first stunt you see in the movie is basically Tamura Morrison's character. There's a stunt double for Tamura Morrison jumping from rock to rock to rock to find the injured Nicole Kidman. And then you'll see Nicole Kidman's stunt double. I forget her name, but I put it in the other video where she's doing this acrobatic, fighting off the entourage, the soldiers of Atlantis to bring her in to marry. God, the king. Who would have played the king? Maybe Jeff Bridges would have played the king since his dad did Sea Hunt. Maybe that would have been a great weird angle there, that his son would have played the king married to Nicole Kidman, and then their son would have been the Ocean Master since Jeff Bridges played a villain. That would have been interesting. But anyway, so Nicole Kidman's stunt double did some work. There's wire work, there's blue screen work, there's green screen work. I'm willing to bet that, yes, I'm pretty sure the actors did their own stunts. It used to be in the old days, like if you watched a movie like Die Hard 2, like Bruce Willis would have his own stunt double. Remember that fight in the factory where he's getting punched, or was it in the airport terminals, and he's getting punched? But you could tell from like, it's like a establishing shot. You could tell that's not Bruce Willis. But ever since the late 2000s, early this decade, more and more actors want to do their own stunts. They don't want to fuck around. They want to do their own stunts. So a lot of the close combat, that's definitely the actors. It's definitely Jason and Yahya Abdul, Mateen. I apologize for not getting your last name right, Mateen. Yahya Abdul, but I just call him Yahya Abdul. That'd be easier. I think Yahya Abdul, he should just make that his stage name and forget the last name. Just make that Yahya Abdul. That'll be all right. So the actors do their own stunts. Any flying around, any spinning around and stuff that's in the fights, that's the stunt doubles. But close combat, that's usually the actors. And there's some hard stunts, falling down, getting tumbled around, getting tumbled on wires, and diving. There is that scene where Mira and Aquaman, they dive into the sand, but there's some diving in oceans. So, you have that, I forgot his name. I don't know if it's Neil, the guy in charge of stunt diving. So there's all kinds of stuff. So it's a good movie. I'm going to see how that comes out on DVD. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I actually do not have a Blu-ray player. I might watch Justice League later on this weekend, or maybe for Christmas, but it is worth your time. And maybe Wonder Woman is worth. I have not seen Wonder Woman movie yet. What other movie could we have? A cyborg movie? Maybe a cyborg movie. I don't believe Black Lightning is doing too well in my honest opinion, but maybe. But a cyborg movie would be good, But the problem is that you have to tie it to Teen Titans, and Teen Titans is a TV show, so that might not work. But there's ways around these things. It's a lot of scratching of heads. Is what Warner Brothers is doing. Okay, now what? Do we put Cyborg in his own movie? Do we get Flash's own movie? Do we introduce new superheroes? Plastic Man? What do we do? We're stuck. So apologize for all the white, and there's black and white video here, but I'm going to go pick up Pioneer Chicken. We still have two Pioneer Chickens here in Los Angeles, one in near downtown, and then we have another one in Bell Gardens. I encourage you to try to get that chicken if you can, and I'll watch something else, probably Vine Sauce videos. All right. There's all kinds of stunt doubles and all kinds of actors, but I saw you in the ocean, and I'll be back to doing Faye McCoy.